Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where every single Friday I, Graham Giuseppe Matthews, give my thoughts on the world of wrestling, share a few stories, etc., etc. And we are only 2 days, 48 hours away until the Royal Rumble, one of, if not my favorite pay-per-view of the year, with the exception of WrestleMania, of course. Always an exciting event, guys. The build for this show has been lackluster at best. Like, I'm pumped for pretty much every match in the card. Monday's Raw was kind of Last week was a little bit better, and the week before that was better. It's just kind of gotten gradually worse and worse with every Raw that we've had so far in the new year. But I'm not complaining, because the Rumble, no matter how bad the recent installments have been, 2014, 2015 weren't really that great. They've always had their shining moments. So I'm excited for Sunday regardless. I have hope they can pull out a great show on Sunday. Maybe I'll sound like a fool come Monday and the show poops out and it bombs. We'll see, but I'm still excited anyway, and I'm hoping you guys are as well. So, of course, the Rumble match itself, I love it, guys. I love it so much. Last year I talked about right before the Rumble, right here in the video blog, my Royal Rumble memories, my Rumble memories of every installment that I've had since I've been that have happened since I've been a fan, dating back to April of 2008. So starting with the 09 Rumble. If you want to check that out from last year, last week I counted down my top 5 favorite Royal Rumble theme songs, and I think so far we do not even have a Rumble theme song for this year's installment, which is kind of weird, considering we're only 2 days away from the event. I guess by this point we're not getting one, but it's a little weird considering it's one of the bigger pay-per-views of the year. But nevertheless, to get into the Royal Rumble mood, I've talked about this time and time before, my favorite returns of all time, and my favorite Rumble moments of all time and stuff like that, and Twitter posts and Facebook posts and articles and stuff like that. I figured I would make it official with this video, my top 5 favorite Royal Rumble returns. I don't want to say ever. I don't want to say ever because people will get their hopes up with returns from like 10 years ago. And as always, I'm only going to go with Royal Rumble returns that I have been a fan for. So going back to 09, I'm not even going to count the Royal Rumble 08. Technically, that was within the same year I started watching, but I was not a fan by that point. So, if I was making a list of all time, Cena's return would probably be number 1. Like, that was one return no one saw coming. It was amazing watching it back. It still gives me goosebumps, even though I wasn't a fan at that time. I wasn't until a couple months later. So I'd probably go with that one as my number 1. But don't be, very mad that's not number 1, or I'm trying to think of other Rumble returns. Like, honorable mentions would be, Bob Backlund from 99, or I think it was 2000. That was pretty cool. Mr. Perfect coming back. Goldust coming back every time. Rob Van Dam, also in 2009, who I guess would count, but I didn't watch that pay-per-view for the first time up until, last year. So anyway, guys, my top 5 favorite Royal Rumble returns. The Rumble match itself is always a treat, but the returns for me are what make it so great. I'm one of those suckers that will always pop for returning legend, a returning star, no matter whether it's Diesel or the Boogeyman. I will always go crazy regardless. So starting with number 5 comes from the 2012 installment. And the 2012 Rumble was not good at all, in my opinion. I thought it was a very bad Rumble. A lot of jobbers, some really cool returns. We had Road Dogg in there. Ricardo, wrestled the match, which was pretty funny. Someone else I thought returned too. I guess not, but I'll get to that one person in a second. But we had commentators in the match. It was kind of shitty by and large, and Sheamus winning I was not enthralled with. So it was not a good Rumble. But one part of the Rumble that I just lost my shit for. I looked back at some tweets that I had that I put out before that Rumble, and this person was included in a tweet of people that I wanted to see in the Royal Rumble, and I can't believe that it actually came to fruition. Karma came back in the 2012 Royal Rumble. Michael Cole, who I just said was a part of the Rumble that year, all the commentators were. Very shitty, a waste of 3 spots in my opinion. So Cole's in the match while everyone else is busy doing other things, and he's just kind of walking around. 3, 2, 1, and that signature laugh goes off that many people, a lot of people remembered, of course. The place popped big, but she was only around for a cup of coffee in 2011. Literally, she was only around, maybe not literally for a cup of coffee, but she was around for about 3 weeks or so in 2011. So I was surprised that, regarding the reaction. Granted, it was only a year before that. It wasn't like it was 5 years prior. But I was surprised because, of course, she had her baby in 2011. Little did we know at that point she had a miscarriage. So that was kind of sad when we found that out about a month or two later. But she to me, looked to be in ring shape. I guess at that point, they were kind of hesitant about bringing her back because she wasn't, fully mentally or physically there yet. So they let her go, and she kind of left on her own terms. Kind of a mutual agreement to leave. But at that point, I was psyched. Karma came back. She quickly disposed of Cole, who kind of jumped out of the Rumble, or Booker T and Lawler eliminated him. And then, then Hunico came by, and she tosses him over the top rope on top of Camacho at ringside. Dolph Ziggler goes up to her and goes, "Get out! Get out!" And then she kicks him in the gut and delivers the implant buster to Dolph Ziggler, a great spot. And then he goes on to eliminate her. But for the minute it lasted, it was a really cool appearance. I was so happy when Karma came to WWE. Awesome Kong from TNA in 2011. I think she signed in 2010, but she came over officially, debuted in 2011. And I was so disappointed she had to leave, but seeing her back was great. If there was any woman who deserved to be the only third woman in WWE history to enter a Rumble, it was Karma, and it was great to see. And like I said, I was very sad that she left later on that year because I felt like they could have done more with her. I was really waiting for her to debut at the Chamber or on Raw to set up Beth and Karma for WrestleMania, and I guess it didn't come to fruition. Not that I guess, it did not come to fruition. She left later on that year because officials were not ready to clear her because she wasn't mentally or physically there yet after her miscarriage and whatever else. So that kind of sucked. But the Rumble return itself was awesome. Easily the highlight of that Rumble for years truly. So coming in at number 4, my top 5 favorite Royal Rumble returns of all time as a fan comes from the 2013 installment. Another very fun Royal Rumble. The exact opposite from 2012. 2012 Rumble, I did not like. The 2013 Rumble I thought was really good. Up until the ending with John Cena winning, I didn't think it was great. Thought Ryback should have won. That's another story for another day. The 2013 Rumble was a lot of fun. Goldust came back and confronted Cody Rhodes in the ring. A great back and forth between those two. Goldust's third Rumble return. He came back in 2002, 2006, and in 2013. So very random, but it was great for as long as it lasted. The Godfather came back in my favorite number 17 for literally a sip of coffee in this one for 4 seconds after Dolph Ziggler took him out with a drop kick. His music playing the entire time. Phoenix went nuts for it. That was a great moment. But my favorite Royal Rumble return from that year, my top 4, my number 4 on my favorite Rumble returns of all time, Chris Jericho coming back out in number 2. So Dolph Ziggler had won a Beat the Clock challenge on Raw, right before this on the Go Home Raw for the show, that allowed him to choose his number in the Rumble. But because Vicky Guerrero at that time was the Raw general manager or consultant or whatever the hell her title was, she said to Dolph, and this was right after he had split from her and cheated on her with AJ Lee, so she said, no, I mean you get to pick your number between 1 and 2. So of course he went with number 1, and then he comes out and he says, "I don't care who number 1 is, just bring him out already." And he looks at the ring, and I'm thinking it's like John Cena, because they had just got done feuding, so I'm thinking it's John Cena, or, I don't know, some loser that he had history with. And then you hear, "Break the walls down." Place loses their shit. Probably the biggest reaction I've ever heard for Jericho. Not my favorite Jericho return, just because the 2014 one was so amazing, because that was there live. The 2013 one was just, no one saw it coming. I think the only Jericho return that was not reported ahead of time. That's what made it so great. So you see Jericho come out, place goes nuts. The biggest reaction he's ever gotten for a return, as he has said himself. Probably his favorite return, as he has also said himself. He and Ziggler last for almost 50 minutes, and I was really hoping we would get Ziggler and Jericho at Mania. We would get Jericho and Fandango instead. I didn't like that WrestleMania. Probably my least favorite Mania of all time. At least 27 had some redeeming moments. 29 I just thought was not good. Other than Taker and Punk, not a good Mania. But Jericho coming back in number 2 in the Rumble was completely unexpected. The first ever. Actually not the first ever, because Goldust also came back in the number 2 seed in 2002. So not the first ever return and one of the first 2 entrants, but among the first few. And it was great to see Jericho back. That kicked off his next run with the company through WrestleMania, or through the summer, I think. And it was great to see him rekindle his rivalry with Dolph Ziggler, the same man who had got him fired from the WWE the previous summer. So a great return for Jericho in 2013. Coming in at number 3 on my fave 5, I guess, in this case, Rumble returns of all time, 2011. I did not order this Rumble, unlike the 2010 one, which I did order. The 2011 one I just watched online. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've talked about it before, how the 2011 Rumble is my is my second favorite Rumble of all time, right next to the 2010 one. And the night before, I remember I was in Toys R Us with like my brother or something. I had just gotten back from dinner, and we were at Toys R Us, and I was reading like the shit on my phone. Spoiler: 2 huge returns for the Rumble revealed. I'm like, oh, don't want, gotta stay away from that. Ended up getting leaked anyway. Like I saw in the headline, like so and so confirmed for the Rumble. Whatever. Booker T and Kevin Nash, or Diesel at that time. And Booker came back as Booker T, not King Booker. And Kevin Nash came back as Diesel, not Kevin Nash. Not until many months later would he come back as Kevin Nash. But even though I kind of saw it coming, like I wasn't like, oh, here comes Booker T, and I forgot about it during the Rumble match itself, I still went nuts. And listening to the show on my headphones, and my family was downstairs, I'm like, oh shit, fucking Booker T! And you gotta keep in mind, for me as a fan, having watched since 2008, I had never seen Booker T in WWE before. I had only seen him in TNA from that point forward, from 2008 to 2009, from when he left in late 2009. I had never seen him in WWE. So he came back, can you dig it, sucker? After the new Nexus was all in the ring. Punk, Mason Ryan, David Otunga, and Curtis Axel all in the ring together, dominating the Rumble, taking O'Kali and a whole bunch of others. One after another, they were taking everybody out. So 3, 2, 1, can you dig it, sucker? Boston came unglued. I lost my shit, and it was amazing. Matt Striker lost his shit. This is a mark out, brother. I'm marking out. No, this is the mark out moment, bro. I'm marking out. No, what was it? This is a mark out moment. I'm marking out, bro, to Matt Striker, or he said that to Michael Cole. Michael Cole's like, oh, jeez, take a chill pill, Matt, or something like that. And ultimately, that's what got him booted from commentary. Striker was gone from commentary literally like the next SmackDown, ironically getting his chair taken by Booker T. So that was kind of funny. But Matt's enthusiasm here was what made it a really cool moment. He could have done away with the insider terms, which I kind of frown upon using on TV. It's kind of weird. But Matt using it there was, I don't know if it was justified, but it definitely enhanced the moment. It made it a very memorable moment, if only because it was the moment that got him kicked off commentary the following week. But seeing Booker T back was great. He was able to do the axe kick, the bookend, the spin-a-rooney before Punk got rid of him. And it was a great return. I really liked that Rumble, and my favorite part of that Rumble had to be Booker T coming back. So coming in at number 2 on my Fave 5 Royal Rumble returns of all time from last year's installment. Again, the 2015 Rumble, widely considered one of the worst of all time, and rightfully so. But I personally thought it was a great Rumble up until Daniel Bryan got eliminated. After that, all the booking, the booking decisions in that Rumble were awful. But up until that, it was a damn good Rumble. We had Zack Ryder coming back from injury. We had the Boogeyman coming out, which was fucking cool. I don't care what anyone says. The Boogeyman coming back was fucking cool. And then you also had Diamond Dallas Page coming out, which was really cool too. That was pretty great. So you had DDP coming out and delivering diamond cutters to people. But even before all that, the first 2 entrants in the Rumble were The Miz and R-Truth. And I thought it'd be Miz and Mizdow, but I guess not. They went with R-Truth for whatever reason to set up the next spot that I'm going to be talking about in a second. And just a disclaimer here, before the pay-per-view, like all weekend long, I heard rumors of like the Dudley Boys maybe in the Rumble. Like if there's any time to do it, it would be at this Rumble because they're in Philly, ECW original, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking, okay, that's cool, but if there's any, like, one person that I want to see in the Rumble, it's the fucking Dudley Boys. Like, I'd always liked Team 3D and TNA, but it wasn't until, like, this one weekend that I'm like, I really want to see Team 3D in the WWE again. And again, a lot like with Booker T, I had never before seen the Dudley Boys in WWE, only in TNA, because I had started watching in 2008. They were many years removed from their WWE run. So I was really hoping all weekend. I was listening to their theme over and over again, thinking, like, if I hear this on Sunday, I'm breaking a window, I'm losing my shit. So 1 and 2, Miz and R-Truth are going back and forth. Number 3 comes out. 3, 2, 1, and it's going down. Boom, no. So, lost my shit. My roommate was watching with me. He was not even a casual fan. He only watches when I watch. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, that's Bubba Ray fucking Dudley. And I'll never forget the call. Like, John, he makes fun of me all the time for watching it. And rightfully so, because I watch it. I don't think I've ever watched the moment back as much as I have watched this one. But Bubba Ray Dudley comes out. Place goes nuts. He's got the glasses on. He's got the camo pants on. And he's doing, like, the 3D pose, going like this and putting his arms up in the air. The entire crowd is doing it, too, in Philly. And, in Michael Cole on commentary, give him all the shit that you want for being a bad commentator in this call, in the long scheme of things and like in the long run may not have been that memorable, but to me it was so like iconic at that time. It still is to this day. But he goes, after 10 long years, Bubba Ray Dudley has come home to Philly. I think he either said Philly or WWE, or he might have just said has come home. But hearing those words, has come home, was just bone-chilling. It was great. And of course, he wouldn't be back in WWE in full, as a full-time performer until after SummerSlam, another favorite return of mine. But that was pretty damn cool. That 2015 Rumble, give it all the shit that you want. But even after that match ended, and I was kind of still disappointed that Reigns won, nothing could take that smile off my face for like the next 3 weeks of Bubba Ray Dudley coming back in the 2015 Royal Rumble. I watched that moment back at least 20,000 times, and it was so fucking cool. Oh, I was so happy to see Bubba Ray Dudley in the 2015 Rumble. So great. And that would have been my number one, if not this one, but I have such an emotional attachment to this return, to this Rumble. I would have been, remiss not to put it as my number one. So, my favorite Royal Rumble return of all time in my many years, not many years, but my 8 years as a wrestling WWE fan, coming in at number one, was from the 2010 Royal Rumble. Like I talked about before, this was the first ever, not even the first Rumble, but the first pay-per-view period I had ever ordered from WWE. I had spent all weekend long, even that whole month, I was constantly asking my mom, can I get the Rumble? Can I get the Rumble? We'll talk about it, blah, blah, blah. So it was always never really like a no or a yes. And it was something I wanted to get for Christmas. Obviously, you're not going to tell your kid on Christmas, oh, you're going to buy the Rumble, but, something I would have asked for anything. I would not have asked for any gifts that year, as long as it meant I would be able to buy the Rumble. I just so wanted that pay-per-view. Not like there was one hook, just the Rumble match itself I was so excited for. So, I got the Rumble, ultimately. I talked about this before. I talked about it last week, but ended up getting the show at my aunt's house. The whole show is really, really good. But we get down to the Rumble match itself, and my nephews had gone to bed. They were, like, really young at that time, maybe, like, 5 and 2 years old, whatever. They were pretty young. And so I tried not to wake them out. I tried to wake them up with my marking out with everything that happened with Punk, his performance, and Michaels getting rid of Triple H was like, oh shit, like here's the person to me that I thought was going to win. So seeing Michaels get rid of Triple H was pretty shocking. But we get down to the final few entrants. I think Jericho came out at like number 27 or 28. 29, Jericho's in the ring taking out Cena and Cena and Michaels. So it's Cena, Michaels, and Jericho in the ring. 29, 3, 2, 1, and you think you know me. Down, and the place goes shit like, oh! I'm pretty sure it took place in Atlanta, that Rumble. Then I'm pretty sure it took place in Atlanta. And 8 years earlier did Triple H win his first Rumble in that same city. That's why I thought Triple H would win. So, and then you hear Matt Striker on commentary, holy sh! Like he didn't say shit, but he gets, started there. He goes, holy sh! And then Edge comes out with the beard and all, and I'm going nuts. Again, I've talked about this before. I'm trying not to wake up my nephews. I'm like, holy fuck, Edge is back. And I kind of had an inkling that Edge would come back. It was never confirmed, but I said to John months in advance, dating back like the summer of '09, right after he had gotten hurt, oh, Edge got hurt this week, man. A Rumble return would be perfect. Hey, I never really counted on it happening. Kind of a dream scenario. So seeing him back was a great surprise. Comes in, spears Jericho, eliminates Jericho, spears Cena, spears Michaels, spears Batista when he comes into the match. And ultimately, it comes down to him, Cena, and Batista. Cena gets rid of Batista. Edge getting ready to take out John Cena. And I'm like, oh no, Cena's going to reverse. Oh no. So I was kind of getting a little disappointed. And Cena does reverse. He kicks Edge in the stomach, looks to throw him over. I'm like, oh fuck, no. And Edge reverses, tosses Cena over the top rope. Yeah! Pumped. Went nuts, almost broke a window. I probably would have if my nephews were not sleeping that night. And it was a great return. I love watching that Rumble back just for that moment itself of Edge coming back. I still get chills watching it. It was a great return. Probably the first return for me as a fan that I really went nuts for. Like Batista coming back the night after WrestleMania was cool. I don't think I went nuts for it though. There weren't really many like returns in '09, in '08. There weren't really like many, like a Jericho coming back or, Bret Hart came back. And even that I didn't really mark out for just because I wasn't really all that familiar with Bret Hart at that time anyway. But Edge coming back was so great. It still lives on as my favorite Royal Rumble return of all time. And I want to hear from you guys. What are your favorite Royal Rumble returns of all time? Is it Edge from 2010? Is it Bubba Ray Dudley? Booker T, Chris Jericho, Karma, or is it someone like a Road Dogg or a Goldust or a Bob Backlund? John Cena, I'm sure, is leading your list from 2008. There's so many of them that you can choose from. Eugene in 2006, Rob Van Dam in 2006 as well, who came back from injury that year. Mick Foley, Jimmy Snuka. There's a whole long list of entrants that you can go with as your favorite Royal Rumble returns. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below, on the Twitter at WrestleRain, also on Facebook at facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. Above all else, guys, I am so pumped for Sunday night and all the returns that could be in store for us come the 2016 Royal Rumble. Looking forward to it, guys. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. Hopefully this man is one of them. I mean, it's technically not a return, but Samoa Joe's in the Rumble. Promise you I'm breaking at least 5 windows? 6 windows for Styles if he debuts, but 5 windows for Joe, 6 for Styles. I gotta make sure I have enough windows to break, with all these people coming back and debuting and returning and everything else. I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, guys, have a great rest of your Royal Rumble weekend. Check out these returns, your own favorite Royal Rumble returns, on the WWE Network, as I will be doing all weekend long, watching live reaction videos of these returns and seeing people mark out in person is like my favorite thing to do right before the Royal Rumble. I've done it every year for the last couple of years, and I look forward to doing it before the Royal Rumble on Sunday. So I hope you guys enjoy the Rumble. Get ready for these great returns that I'm hoping we're going to get. Watch like I said to RJ on Tuesday's WrestleRant Radio, watch like Rene Dupree come back. But even if like he came back, I'd mark out. I'm such a mark for this business. I will mark out for anybody coming back. So we'll see. We'll see what happens come Sunday. Enjoy the Rumble on Sunday, guys. I'm Graham Matthews, and I'll catch you folks down the road to WrestleMania.